What's going on, man? Welcome to today's training all around the office survival guide. I'm going to get right into this because I know that it is Halloween and you guys have bowls of candy downstairs that you want to go demolish. So, to jump right in. So, today is the office lunch survival guide, and this is all about how you can actually lose weight without having to skip your office lunches, your pizzas, your happy hours, all the things that make going into the office even remotely worth it. This is a guide to make sure that those things aren't the reason that you end up packing on 15 to 20 more pounds between now and Christmas. So, if you are like most busy professionals, you probably believe that staying fit means you have to avoid your favorite foods or that following those super strict diets is the only way to lose pound or to lose 15 pounds. I mean, keto, carnivore, intermittent fasting, do I need to go on? And you definitely feel like it is absolutely impossible to balance your fitness with your schedule, because I can tell you for a fact I have been there. It is a common mindset that is just rooted in this idea that fitness and your enjoyment of life and work cannot coexist. Like, it just feels like it's impossible. Everybody in the world says you can't do it. There's just this mindset that you have. It's just deep rooted in there that you can't physically do it. But the truth is, this all or nothing approach to your fitness is actually why you are stuck in the cycle and never truly gaining any momentum in your fat loss journey. So, to get into this, I'm really excited to dive into this today. This is something that I've put a lot of time and effort into. And realistically, I've done my own studying on it because as an engineer myself, I have spent countless hours sitting in lunches, sitting in pizza events, going out to happy hours and networking events for my own job. So I 100% have lived and breathed this training. And I'm going to show you the exact way that you can navigate your office lunches, your pizza parties, your happy hours, all of those things, and still see the weight come down on the scale in the morning. If you've ever felt yourself having to choose between your work or your health or going to that happy hour or staying on your diet, or all of those things, you're not alone. I get it. And by the end of this training, you are going to have a very clear understanding of how to blend the two of those things or three of those things so you always see success in your fitness journey and in your office. So if you're here live with me, drop a live in the comments just so I know who's here. And if you're catching this on the replay, drop a replay so that I know if I need to adjust times in the future. Now, to begin here, we just need to break some of your beliefs. And these are some beliefs that I used to live and breathe by. And the biggest one here is I have to skip meals or eat boring foods to stay fit. How many times have you skipped breakfast because you're on a diet and you're trying to lose weight? Or how many times have you said oh, it's just chicken, rice, and broccoli. That's all I can eat because I need to lose weight. So I'm just going to eat chicken, rice, and broccoli. That's what the internet tells me to do, or cut out carbs or whatever. All of these things that you actually like to eat, you stop eating them because you feel like that's the only way to lose weight. Skipping those meals, skipping that breakfast because you're running out the door, grabbing that cup of coffee. I've been there. I did it this morning. I get it, but it is not the norm. The new belief that you really need to install in yourself is I can actually enjoy my food and my meals and still make progress if I simply choose options that align with my goals. This isn't about eating chicken, rice, and broccoli 6 times a day, every day of the week for 3 months. Will it work? Sure. Is it going to be fun? Fuck no. We all know that it's not fun. If you've tried to do it for 1 week, you know it's not fun. You know it's not sustainable. So being able to understand hey, you can still have a bagel and cream cheese if you practice the rest of it and you plan around it. You can still have that pizza. You can still enjoy that Panera. All of those things are possible if you change this mindset that you have to skip the meal or you have to eat those boring foods just to lose the weight. And the next thing is exactly that. If I eat the pizza or the sandwiches at work, I'm going to fall off my diet. If you think that your diet doesn't allow for you to have pizza or sandwiches or alcohol or whatever, you're not following a good diet. You are following a named diet that says, hey, you have to do this, and you will see results. The reality is that you just need to have the right strategies. You need to understand how to enjoy those office lunches without having this guilt or these setbacks or feeling super bloated and miserable for the rest of the day, feeling like you need a nap at 2 o'clock because you ate this massive amount of food for lunch. It's just not realistic. And you don't need to think about it as falling off your diet or failing in your diet. It's just living life and enjoying the fact that you are stuck having to go to the office and they provided you free lunch one day. And then the next one that trails off of that is I fell off my diet. I'll just start again on Monday. Listen, I just started a brand new engineering job this week, and we have lunch and learns every single Tuesday and Thursday. If I had lunch in the office at a lunch and learn every Tuesday and Thursday and said, I'm just going to start again on Monday, I would never see progress because it is not realistic to have lunch in the office 2 days a week and then say, well, I'm just going to start again on Monday because like I cheated on my diet or I fell off the bandwagon. I'm just going to get back into it on Monday. And especially now, guys, like it is Halloween. Monday is coming around. Next thing you know, we're in November. Next thing you know, it's Thanksgiving. Next thing you know, it's the holidays. Next thing you know, it's New Year's. And then, the playoffs are here for the football and the Super Bowl's coming on. And then hockey's getting into their play. Like, it's just, you can find every excuse in the book to fall off your diet. But the reality here is just simply having one meal off of your quote unquote diet is totally okay. I actually encourage my clients to not just feel like they have to eat the chicken, rice, and broccolis, the straight, like, all the things that if you Google healthy diet, like I encourage my guys to eat ice cream, to enjoy the food that they eat pretzels, eat popcorn, eat the things that you don't think that you're supposed to, because once you get it through your head that if you're able to stick to a standard routine, having one meal off of that isn't going to change it as long as that one meal doesn't then become a whole day or a whole week of just saying F it and moving on with your life. So with that, I just want to introduce you guys to Jake. So Jake is one of my clients. Dude is an absolute all-star. He is an IT systems engineer, and he came to me literally saying, he's like, hey, listen, like I have never stepped foot in a gym. I kind of understand how to diet, but I've never really done it with any success. And he legit said, he's like, I realized I needed to make a change because I was walking to my apartment and I climbed up a flight of stairs and I couldn't breathe. Like I was winded. I was so overweight that like walking up a flight of stairs literally caused him to go, I'm struggling to breathe right now. That was a huge wake up call for him. And that ultimately is why he ended up signing up. But then as we were talking, he said, I was talking to him about like, well, what's your typical day look like in the office? And he's like, dude, he's like, everything is free lunches. Oh, we have a new client coming in, free pizza. Oh, we just finished this project, pizza party. Oh, it's Thursday, pizza party. Like the most ridiculous things. He's like, there's pizza in the office all the time. And he was struggling so hard. He was pushing almost 300 pounds and just struggling. And he was overwhelmed. He didn't know where to start. And then he started working with me. And within 16 weeks, he dropped 20.6 pounds. He learned how to be able to enjoy that pizza in the office. He's actually been eating more food. When we first started, he was eating like 1,200 calories. And now he's eating 2,500 calories. And he's able to still be losing weight. Like he's absolutely crushing it. And he's eating almost twice as much food as he was before because of the mindset that he had of just eat less food and you'll lose weight. And the reality is he's eating twice as much food and he's losing weight. So it's not always cutting food. It's not always ignoring that pizza in the office. It's not about that. It's understanding that system and having it in place so that you can still have those foods and enjoy them. That is what matters. And the best part here is Jake is right on the verge now of having to buy a complete new wardrobe. He's been punching holes in his belts left and right. So 100%, it sucks to be Jake because I would hate to have to buy a new wardrobe because I lost so much weight. Now, let's get right into the meat of all of this. No pun intended here. But let's be real. Panera is probably like the be-all, end-all staple of office lunches. Like whenever you have an office lunch, if you live in an area that has a Panera, I should preface that because I've told people have told me they don't have Paneras in their towns, which is weird because I've always had one since they came around. But this is like the staple thing. Like it shows up in your office and you're like, this is the greatest thing ever. Gonna have Panera. It's gonna be sandwiches, chips, cookie, like the whole nine. Like it is the best lunch ever to show up in the office. Let's be real. And Panera has always touted itself as being this like super healthy brand and, being the company that you want to like enjoy because you're like, oh, Panera, it's healthy food. We can totally have Panera. The reality is Panera is not actually as healthy as they make it out to be. And especially when you're trying to lose some weight, Panera actually really can sneak up with you. And I'm going to show you exactly how to get around it. So the first thing here, let me see if I can move my head here. Let me just turn my face off. There we go. So first things first, and I am the biggest victim of this, skip the bacon turkey bravo. Guys, I get it. The bacon turkey bravo is actually the only reason that I think Panera is still in business between that and like bread bowl soup. Like I don't actually know how Panera stays in business, but This sandwich is 1,000 calories. This is not going to do your waistline any favors if that's what you eat for lunch, because the reality is we know you're not going to eat nothing for breakfast and nothing for dinner. You're going to have this big filling dinner because you're like, well, I already have Panera for lunch. I'm just going to have, whatever. Like I'll just eat pizza for dinner or whatever. And sure, it has, 54 grams of protein, but 104 grams of carbs, 41 grams of fat. Like that's pretty close to like some people's carbon fat numbers for like an entire day, let alone one meal. It's just super heavy. And at the end of the day, like you're just going to be done without lunch. You're just going to start to feel bloated. You're going to feel sluggish. That 2 o'clock meeting, you're going to be sitting there just like pounding a coffee to stay awake because you're just so full and miserable at the end of the day. The smarter choice that you can make here is actually just having a deli turkey sandwich. And I know, it's not as good, Spencer. I know. But if losing weight is your goal, taking that small hit to your ego to not get the bacon turkey bravo and getting that deli turkey sandwich is going to make a huge difference because it's almost half the calories. It's only 590 calories. It's just as filling. It's not as heavy. You're not going to be as sluggish, and you're going to stay more fueled throughout the rest of the day. And then I know you're thinking it, and you probably thought it the second you saw the word Panera, and you said, that's great, Spencer, but what about the chips and cookie, bro? I get it. Those chips and cookies are very hard to resist. I totally understand it. But those can very quickly turn even the most reasonable lunch decisions into just complete and utter calorie bombs, which makes it very hard to manage and maintain. So if you want to know how they stack up, I'm more than happy to hook you guys up. If you comment Panera on this, I will send you the entire guide that has Panera as and everything else in this training. Comment Panera. I have all the nutrition for the big heavy hitter sandwiches that you're most likely to get, the chips, the cookies, everything. And just a heads up, that kitchen sink cookie that you always want to get, not as good once you see the calories. Now, next up is pizza. Obviously, we all know what happens here. You do something good, you have something happen. Same thing that I was talking about with Jake. Oh, hey, we hit this milestone at work. Cool, let's have a pizza party. This is like the proverbial, like if you follow any meme pages, this is the, oh, great job this year. Here's a pizza party, but we're not doing bonuses, right? Like this is where it's at. Those boxes of Domino's, Panera, or Domino's, Papa John's, your local pizza shop, whatever it is, they show up, and it's really hard to resist just not mowing through half a pizza by yourself. Because let's be real, they always order more. Like you never run out of pizza. There's always pizza left over somehow. Like it just magically reappears when you close the box. And again, like whether it's a lunch and learn, it's a birthday, or a, hey, you've been working hard, pizza can super easily sneak up on your waistline if you're not paying attention. And smashing through half of that pizza isn't going to do you any favors today or any day in the future. So the biggest keys here is to limit yourself to 2 slices. And this is probably something that you think about doing, but then once you've done those 2 slices and they're still talking and it's like, half after, like 12:30, 12:40, and you're like, I could probably do one more slice. Like there's still a whole nother pizza over there. And you get up and you grab that third, maybe fourth slice. And that's the thing that ends up screwing you over later in the day because now you've just spent so many more calories. It's super easy to lose track of how much you're eating. So what I always do is just pick 2 slices. Frankly, it doesn't even matter which slices you pick. Just pick 2 slices and stick with it. That's all you're going to do. If they bring in a side salad, have a small portion of it. Give or take like 2 handfuls. Like if you were to cup your hand, like kind of grabbing lettuce, obviously don't use your hands, sanitation, but that's going to add some fiber to your diet or to your meal. It's going to help you feel full. It's going to help you feel fuller longer. And it's going to help you avoid some of that afternoon slump because you're going to have less pizza in your body because you're going to start to feel more full on that side salad. And the biggest thing here is really just go easy on the dressing. Like it's either an Italian or a ranch. Be mindful that that's super high in fats. And then the last piece here for pizza is really just consider cheese over toppings. And I get it. Pineapple doesn't belong on pizza supposedly, but those pepperoni slices, those sausage slices, those are really going to drop a ton of extra calories and they're going to come from fat. They're not going to come from protein. So it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And when you actually look at the calories, you'll see that cheese slices are technically the most healthy because they actually have the highest protein to total calorie ratio. So if you want to understand, again, inside of the guide, I have lists of some of the top 4 or 5 pizza styles, cheese, pepperoni, sausage, meat lovers. I may have a Hawaiian in there. I'd have to double check. But if you want a copy of that with all the macros and everything like that, what the calories are for your slices, comment pizza below, and I will send that guide over to you immediately. Now, that said, I want to jump in and just talk about my boy Adam. So Adam is an absolute killer. Adam's been working with me now for 18 months, maybe a little bit more. And Adam is now down 56.4 pounds in our time together. He might actually be a little bit more. I didn't look at his weigh in this morning, but Adam has been an absolute all-star. He came to me pushing 290. He was at 290 pounds, and he had gone all the way down to 215 at one point, and he ballooned back up to 400, and he just bounced back and forth between those numbers. He was constantly yo-yoing. He was just so frustrated and struggling because he's like, I know how to cut weight. Like I was a wrestler in high school. Like I know how to cut weight. It's super easy for me. But when it came time to like keep the weight off, he really struggled. And he was doing the MLMs, he was doing those shake diets, he was doing everything. And he could lose the weight, but then he couldn't keep it off. Once we started working together, the first thing that we did was increase his calories, much like we did with Jake. We increased his calories almost double what he was eating. He immediately started losing weight. He lost like 30 pounds in the first like 6 months that we were working together. And then we said, okay, cool, let's take a break. And we reverse dieted him. We got him back. He was eating at the lowest point, I think like 1,800 working with me. We got him up eating almost 3,000 calories a day for like 6 months over the course of that time. And he only gained 1 pound, which is absolutely amazing. And that's what, if you're not familiar with it, it's called reverse dieting. So you diet down and then you reverse out and then you get to maintenance. But that ultimately allowed us to really extend the amount of time that we're losing the weight, but be able to maintain it because it's so easy to just cut and cut and cut and cut and get the calories super low. But then you hit this point where you're like, okay, cool, my calories are low, I'm not losing weight. Like, what do I do now? And you just keep cutting calories or you add more cardio. And it doesn't always work. So with Adam, what we were able to do is we actually took that and just said, cool, let's reverse diet for a bit. We reverse dieted for 6 months. He gained 1 pound. He packed on a ton of muscle because we had so many extra calories that his body was able to use to fuel his workouts. His workouts got better. He felt more, focused in the gym, at work, everything like that. And he was just getting such better results. And then we put him back into a diet phase and he's lost another 20 pounds. And now he's down almost 60 full pounds. We're getting really, really close to that initial 215 that he had gotten to, beginning of COVID, working out 6 hours a day. He's working out maybe an hour a day, 3-4 times a week, and he's absolutely killing it. So Adam's probably one of the best guys in the world. He's become a very good friend as well as one of my clients, and he has absolutely killed it. If you want to hear more about his story, like please just shoot me a message or shoot him a message. Adam loves talking about it, and he loves giving guys insights into kind of how he's done it. And of course, I just completely skimmed over this. Oh my God, how did I skim over this? Adam has, from where he was on the left photo here, you can even see it a little bit in the photo here. Adam on the left side was just miserable. He was uncomfortable. He wasn't happy with who he was. He now has gotten to a point where he has lost so much weight that he rekindled his life. He started doing a job that he absolutely loves. He started his own business that is absolutely taking off. And he just got into his first relationship in over 14 years. And I will say I did have permission from Adam to say that. Adam has finally gotten into his first relationship in over 14 years because he finally feels comfortable and confident in his body. And like the second that he told me that, I was like, cool. I'm like, I'll wait for my wedding invite, bro. I'm so excited for it. Now, to continue, jumping back in, let's talk about taco bars. This one is farther and fewer between, but it has become a little bit more prevalent, I feel like, post-COVID, where people are like, oh, we don't just want pizza or we don't just want sandwiches. And so people go with this taco bar. And this is like a top tier office lunch. Like when they bring in like the catered Qdoba or Chipotle, like this is just next level. And whatever vendor or manufacturer brings that in, become friends with them because they also throw really good happy hours, which we'll talk about. Now, these also can, however, be massive calorie traps if you are not careful with what you're trying to choose. It's easy to stay on track, but it's also super easy to fall off track. So here's how to build the absolute best taco plate that satisfies your cravings while still keeping you on track to hit your fitness goals, losing those 15 pounds. The very first thing, and if you've ever watched a video that I've ever done, is prioritize your protein. Dive into the toppings is so tempting. There's guac, there's cheese, there's beans, there's all this stuff in this spread. But you want to focus on the protein first. Make sure that you start with 2 palms worth. So if you look at your hand, 2 palms worth of protein on your plate. That is the absolute number one rule when it comes to a taco plate or a whatever, like a barbecue, whatever it is. Any of these like DIY lunches, 2 palms of protein on your plate before you grab anything else. Focusing on that is going to not only fuel your body, keep you full, but it is going to help you build muscle because you're also training. So this is absolutely critical. Now, when it comes to tacos specifically, you're probably thinking like, yeah, cool, cool. Like, what about shells? Like, are you one of those assholes that likes hard shells, or like you a normal person that likes soft shells? And feel free to drop any hate that you have in the comments. But when it comes to tacos, there really isn't a difference in terms of calories. The choice of shell is totally up to you. The calorie difference is so small between 2 hard shells or 3 soft shells. Might have that backwards. It's just so negligible that it really doesn't matter. Like, if you want to have a shell, great, have the shell. It's not going to impact you positively or negatively if you go one or the other. Now, when it comes to toppings, I already talked about this. You want to focus on the protein. You can still have toppings. This doesn't just have to be like meat in a tortilla. That's stupid. The things to load up on are your veggies. Think about your lettuce, your pico de gallo, your salsas, your corn salsas. I'm thinking chipotle, but like they're corn salsa, even hot sauces. The things that you want to be super careful with are things like your cheese, your sour cream, your guacamole, those fat sources. You can still have them, absolutely, but be mindful that grabbing a huge, handful of them is going to add way more calories and way more calories from fat, not necessarily from protein. You want to be mindful about how much you're putting, how many toppings you are putting onto your taco, which is why I say prioritize the protein, grab your shell, and then fill up on those vegetables first, the corn, the tomatoes from guac, or from salsa and from pico, the lettuce, things like that. And then again, if you want to understand kind of what the ingredients actually look like in some of these things, how many calories are in that, 2 tablespoons of sour cream or that guacamole, comment tacos below and I will send you the entire guide. And then next up, the most important one here is happy hour. We have all been there. And if you haven't, comment below and tell me that you have never had this happen to you, because I don't believe that anybody in the world has ever not had this happen. You have a vendor coming in or a manufacturer, or a meeting, whatever it is coming up. It's like 2, 3 o'clock. And then all of a sudden that meeting goes to, hey, you know what? Why don't we let's just go down to the bar down the street. Like, let's get out of the office, get out of here. It's stuffy, whatever. Like, let's just go down. We'll have a couple of drinks and we'll enjoy, have a couple of drinks and have this meeting there. And now you're surrounded by the temptation of drinking, fried food, peer pressure, and then all that combined with the social aspect of these outings makes it very difficult to say no to things. And so that's where you can start to ruin your weight loss goals, because you're not paying attention, and it is super easy to blow your calories out of the water. So the first things that I want to talk about is just being okay with saying no. I talk about this with my clients. I try and do really a lot better about this myself. And that's first things first, is just remembering that you do not have to drink. Now, I say that I will go after people all day online that say the best way to lose weight is to just stop drinking. And realistically, in a corporate environment, that is very difficult to do, because corporate environments typically trend a lot towards alcohol and drinking and social events like that, surrounded by alcohol, for networking, for business development, things like that. Like, that is something that is commonplace in our environments, especially in engineering. Like, we're basically just a bunch of functioning alcoholics. And it can be tough to not drink, but understanding that you don't have to drink. Now, sure, if you don't drink, cool, you're probably going to have a lot easier time losing weight. But I'm not going to sit here and say you have to stop drinking if you want to lose 15 pounds. That's just not realistic. But it is okay that if you're just not feeling like going out and having a bunch of drinks, to just pass on the alcohol or pass on the snacks. Being comfortable with saying no in those environments is going to be huge to take you on, or to put you on track to achieve your fitness goals. Now, the next thing is choosing smarter drinks. When it comes to alcohol, there are smarter choices that you can and can't make. The biggest things is just opting for lower calorie drinks. Like, we all know, like, okay, yeah, like, get a Coors Light or a Michelob, Bud Light or whatever. And like, that's fine. But like, sometimes you just want like a cocktail. And when it comes to that, you want to focus on like vodka or gin and like a soda, like club soda. Tonic water has a massive amount of calories if you don't know that. And then just in general, avoiding anything sugary, avoid hurricanes, avoid any of those kind of crazy drinks like that. And if you're a beer person, again, like, just go for the lighter beer, try and keep the calorie count lower. A lot of like the heavier craft beers nowadays are like 250, 300 calories. And quite frankly, even like a Guinness is actually a good, what I would call light beer. And yes, go off in the comments that Guinness isn't light. I know it's a stout, but Guinness is actually a good choice as well. If you're only going to have one or two, it's a very low percentage alcohol. And there is a little bit of benefit to getting that in terms of calories and everything like that. Then the last piece here in terms of happy hour is really just it comes down to snacking. You really need to choose wisely. Those mozzarella sticks, pretzels, chicken wings, all those things. I have it in here: mozzarella sticks, pretzels, and wings. Oh my! Any of you Wizard of Oz fans out there, these super high carb, high fat snacks are going to destroy your gut and your weight loss goals if you are not careful. So be mindful of them. Understand that everything that you do at this happy hour is going to affect how your body recovers, how you react. If you have any type of GI distress now, it's going to get worse. All of those things. And if you want to understand some of the more calorie efficient snacks and drinks, comment happy hour below. And again, I will send you the guide that has a list of probably 5 or 6 of the top things that you can and should order if you end up in these situations. So with that, I appreciate you staying here. From here, you've got 2 options. Option 1 here is you can just continue to do this on your own. You can work all day, struggle to get your nutrition dialed in at the office, not see your waistline go down, be stuck with those extra 15 pounds. You can try to implement what I've shown you today during this training on your own. Hopefully it helps. You can message me for the guide. I will send it to you. You can try and implement it by yourself. And ultimately, you're probably just going to continue to be frustrated and stuck in your own fitness journey roller coaster, constantly going up and down and spinning around like there's no tomorrow. Option 2, though, is you can skip all that guesswork and just get on a free 15-minute personal performance mindset, a free 15-minute performance optimization call with myself. And we'll dig into all the things that you've tried and get you set up with a true and realistic game plan to just set you up for sustainable success. And I say sustainable success, not because I'm an engineer and sustainability matters, but like it truly does. Like guys like Adam, like you can go up and down all you want, but you want to get something where like when you lose the weight, you want to keep it off. And being able to make that a sustainable system is what is critical. So trainings like this can be super constraining because you are your own unique person. There are no 2 programs that work for every single person. If you've ever tried a PDF workout plan online from like bodybuilding.com or Men's Health, any of those, they might work for you, but they're never going to be sustainable because they weren't built for you. And that's why they're very hard to stick with. Now, the other side of this is I always just want to give you as much value as humanly possible. And I don't want to take up your entire evening. This training has already gone longer than most of mine do, but I wanted to make sure that I gave you as much as I possibly could in the shortest time period possible. And sometimes getting into the nitty gritty, the one-on-ones, the performance optimization is very difficult on these trainings. So what you can do is let me help you. As I am both an engineer and a fitness coach, my time spots are super limited right now, especially with my new job and my commute and everything going on in my life. But I do have 5 slots available this week that I'm going to be able, upcoming week, that I'm going to be able to help you specifically create those performance plans and really just set you up for success. Understanding what you're doing. We're going to talk through your fitness goals, your current and your past struggles, losing weight, getting you set up with the exact plan for you to actually start to see your waistline coming in again. The worst case here is we just get a better understanding of your goals and I can provide you some resources to point you in the right direction, whether that's this lunch guide, whether that's some meal plan guides, whether that's some workout plans, whatever it is, I can get you set up with some free resources to at least point you in the right direction so that you can start to see success. The best case is we find out that we're actually a mutual fit and we start to design your engineered fitness blueprint. We help you lose 15 plus pounds. You boost your energy levels both in and out of the office. You see your productivity levels skyrocket in the office, which hopefully leads to promotions and raises and all of those things. And then the best case here is also you finally fit into your old dress shirts again. How many dress shirts do you have pushed to the back of your closet because they just don't fit anymore? So there's absolutely no risk to you. The call is 100% free. If you want to jump in and have one of these calls, again, I only have a couple of time slots available, so make sure you book in now. You can either use this hyperlink, type it in yourself, or if you want to scan this QR code, that will take you directly to my calendar and you can book in. Again, spots are super limited. I only have a couple of spots available with the new job and everything going on like that. My spots are very limited. So if you want access to this, jump in here. And lastly, I appreciate you staying. If you want a copy of the full nutrition guide for your office lunch survival, comment the word guide below. And as always, if you got value from this, please just drop the word value in the comments so that I know that this was helpful for you. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, other trainings you'd like to see, please, please, please feel free to DM me. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Halloween, and I will talk to you later, man.